joining me in the studio today is Leon Young, founder of Cogniss, as the company targets a $2 million raise on equity crowdfunding platform OnMarket. Leon, thanks for joining me in the studio.
Absolute pleasure, Elliot.
Look, before we dive into obviously the raise, let's first talk about what you guys are doing at Cogniss.
Yeah, Cogniss is a no-code platform for creating human transformation apps. So it's really something that allows anyone to build a sophisticated app for driving more effective outcomes in health, education and lifestyle.
So those are the two sort of verticals that you're specifically focusing in on, so that digital health and ed tech in terms of the no-coding?
Yeah, it's very much about those things where you want to drive a behavioural outcome. So if you look at the App Store last year, 25% of the 325,000 new apps published fell into health, education and lifestyle. Only a very small percentage of those are successful. And when you look at the most successful apps, think Noom for weight loss or Duolingo for language learning, Headspace for mental health, they all use what we call human transformation techniques, which is that they deliver highly personalised experiences and they get you to do the thing that you want to do, but perhaps you're not sufficiently motivated to do. And it's all the things for that we've built into our Cogniss platform. I
was going to ask, so, what's the sort of, for them, what's the benefit of connecting with Cogniss in terms of helping them build out their platforms?
Yeah, so in the same way that Canva makes anyone into a graphic designer or a video creator, Cogniss allows anyone to build a best of breed app. So we have the neuroscience and neuropsychology built in, the artificial intelligence, and all of the user experience components. So all you need to bring is your subject matter knowledge, and then you can create an app of this nature.
Because the benefit of something like that, I mean, even with Canva, it does help sort of anyone get involved and get started, but there is always going to be the need, I guess, for the coders or the graphic designers to use the Canva model. So is Cogniss sort of acting as a starting platform, or are you trying to help them along their full journey?
Not really. I mean, if you look at who our customers are at the moment, it's 3 government departments, 7 universities, global companies like Lendlease and Veolia are building their major applications on this. So we really take people from that point of view of being able to get an MVP built in a few days through to giving them all of those extra components that they need. So it's 5 years of R&D of building out these AI engines and all this sort of thing underneath it. Having said that, of course, from time to time, someone wants to do something that we don't have off the shelf.
Yeah.
So we have an API and a wrapper, so you can just build something externally in a responsive web technology, connect it to our platform and publish it inside a
so it's providing that sort of full frame if you do want something.
It can be just no code or it can be low code if you want, in that hybrid model.
So you're raising.
Yep.
You've already, you started last week. You're now looking at $2 million as you've reached your sort of minimum target. Run us through that journey.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey for us because we bootstrapped this business. We haven't even gone out and looked for capital until now, because we were able to pre-sell the platform and always bring in enough revenue to cover the bills. So the thing for us now is we can't keep up with the demand locally and internationally. And we thought CSF would be a great way to do our first raise because it allows us to launch the Cogniss platform to the world. And indeed, just the advertising and PR we've done around it has delivered over 100 new business leads in the last 4 weeks. So it's been a great way to kind of launch Cogniss into the wider consciousness.
I guess it is good, the crowdfunding not only helps get you money, but also just gets you noticed by other people as well.
And a lot of the people who are putting money in are people who understand the value and want to be customers and build on the product as well.
And so what's the immediate plans, I guess, for the cash? Is it to build out the team, the product?
It's the product is pretty mature. Of course, it can always be better, and we always want to build your engineering team, but it's more around the marketing, having the support resources to have a proper product-led growth strategy, and the sales resources to flip some of those. So we have universities who might have 3 or 4 Cogniss licenses in the university. We want to be able to do a land and expand and turn those sort of customers into enterprise customers. So we need professional salespeople and things like that in the organisation.
Now, obviously, you in Australia, as you're running us through, what other geographic areas are you in? Plus, where are you planning on going?
Okay, so all of the business has been built on word of mouth. So apart from a bit of stuff in Singapore, it's mostly been in Australia to date. But we're announcing partnerships in the coming days in the UK and the US, particularly focusing on things like pharmaceuticals and children's education, people who are going to sell other offerings on top of the Cogniss platform. For us, in terms of physical expansion, probably the UK is the next market because we have such traction in Australia in the researcher market, and the universities and the research organisations here tend to be pretty connected to the UK ones, so that kind of makes it the logical next cab off the rank.
I was going to ask, so the UK is pretty much like they've got similar sort of building blocks.
Yeah,
to
similar
go
buying
into.
process, similar issues, and a lot of the researchers who are, most of the products built on Cogniss have researchers attached to them, and a lot of those researchers actively collaborate with researchers at Cambridge and UCL and places like this. So, of course, they're on our short-term radar.
And where can this market grow to? Obviously the App Store is ever growing. I don't see that slowing down at all.
No, but we think it's much bigger than that. So our play long term is to be more like Xero is in the accounting space or Salesforce in the CRM space. So apps are an immediate delivery platform, but we have APIs and people are already connecting Internet of Things types of devices into Cogniss apps, wearables. So we're trying to build an ecosystem that we can sit at the center of that makes it really quick to create these digital solutions, but you can plug in all of these other best of breed hardware and software products.
And do you think that acquisition would form a part of that? Or I guess it's probably not on the radar just yet.
Yeah, it's not on the radar just yet. And from our point of view, I guess going through the last year and getting our product market fit right, we've realised the market opportunity was bigger than we thought it was when we started. So, we think we're on a path to listing in the next 5 years, and we're playing this for the long term.
Yeah. How did it start?
It started because I was running a specialist agency building these types of products for people for the previous 10 years. And we won over 50 awards around the world. We were quite high profile for what we did, but there was a constant frustration that it was so expensive to build these types of solutions. We could only service people with big budgets. It was difficult for them, it was difficult for us. And then what would often happen is you'd build a solution, it goes out for 3 years, and then the funding envelope ends. Someone doesn't have funding to update it and they switch it off. So we were trying to solve that problem. And so that's why 5 years ago we just thought we're going to take everything we know and productize it into this platform.
So 5 years ago, you did a pretty massive round last year. So is this your second one?
No, this is our first round. We were bootstrapped entirely.
Yeah.
So we came out of having this sort of mid-side...
expression of interest. That was...
The expression of interest we ran for, just a few weeks ago. So that just finished. And that was huge. We got over 650 potential investors signing up for that, which apparently is on market's largest in 2 years. But our background had come out of being this specialist agency, which meant that when we wanted to build the platform, we already knew the customers. So we were able to sell as we built, which has funded us to date. In
that sense, is that why you went for the equity crowdfunding route rather than, say, the VC or something like that?
For us, it's firstly that thing of we needed to get out of just selling things through word of mouth. So that launching it to the world in one go at the same time is really attractive. The idea of doing things in a fixed time frame is attractive. You only have, as an entrepreneur, so many hours in the day, so that worked well. And it means that we're able to position ourselves really strongly for a Series A, because now we know where our product market fit is. The next stage is to establish all those KPIs around lifetime customer value and things like that allow us to get the sort of uptick in valuation that we'd like to see in the next round.
Well, Leon, thank you so much for running us through Cogniss. When does the round, when does it close on market?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So people have 2 weeks to get involved.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be catching up with you down the line.